Okay, so we need to submit what ended World War One activity today. My daughter Macy is here to help us with this. So we have a timeline of World War One. Here's July 1914. I'm sorry, 1914 here. June is when the Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated. So we remember that's the spark of World War One. And the first trenches were dug. So remember, we were dealing with trench warfare. They were dug in September of 1914, so that happened very fast. We kind of had a long battle of 2 years. That was no coming, please. We had a long battle, and it lots of casualties. So here's another big battle, and lots of casualties. No real breakthrough either way. And then we have the Zimmerman note that was intercepted, and the Americans were on board at this point for joining World War One. So the Americans did join World War One, and as a result, 2 million U.S. troops arrived in Europe, and the newly fresh troops, supplies, and money from the USA provided the final push needed to defeat the Central Powers. And eventually, we have the Bolsheviks, who signed an armistice with Germany, and a peace treaty was signed. So just describe some of the events that we just talked about here in number 1. And then in number 2, what effect did the United States entrance in the war have? It's in this section right here. They were able to provide fresh troops, fresh supplies, and money. And yeah, so answer those 2 questions. And then you might want to be familiar with some of these questions as well. During World War I, what development in military technology developments in military technology led to, and we know that it's the use of poisonous gas in submarine attacks. And number 2, which statement explains the decline in unemployment rates in Britain? The men were fighting, so that meant that the women were at home working. So World War I generated jobs at home in England and in the military. So that's the first time that we've really seen the women working as well. Base your answer to the following question on the passage below in your knowledge of social studies. So we have been in a camp near the wood at Écurie for some days now, and more miserable existence it would be hard to imagine. There is nothing but unrest and uncertainty, and everyone here is absolutely fed up to the teeth. So what hypothesis can be supported by this passage? Allies forces were on the verge of winning the war. No. Technology had created a military stalemate. That looks pretty good. Revolution in Russian hastened to end the war, or conditions contributed to the low troop morale. So we're going to go with the fact that technology had created a military stalemate. Number 4, increase. The technology developed during World War I resulted in what? Increased military casualties and battles fought during the war. In a bombardment or a barrage, curtain fire, if you hear anything like that, that's dealing with the technological developments used in World War I. And we have this passage here, and it talks about a weary, exhausted, nerve-wracking group of men assembled in a gully. They had to dig. So all of that, if you continue to read, and I'm talking about dugouts and houses, those are the trenches that they were building. So I hope this helps you with your reading check, and make sure you submit your warfare and end of World War I activity today. Thanks.